Getting in shape is not that complicated. As much as everyone loves to sell you on their special sales tactics, it does not need to be that difficult. It doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to understand the key principles, the things that you actually need to focus on that are going to move the dial. So today I'm going to go over 5 key things that I actually really want you to focus on. If you think about these things and get them good 95% of the time, you will make very good progress. And that is undoubtable. Okay. So clear your mind. I want you to forget everything that you've been told before, whether it's about keto diets or about intermittent fasting or anything to do with that, or even little nuances around training. Focus on these 5, do them well, and you will make very good progress. The first of the 5 is something that is not spoken about enough, and that is micronutrition and its impact on your health and hormone levels. You see, the problem is if you only focus on how much food you're eating as opposed to what the food is that you're eating, you won't be very healthy. Your hormone levels are going to be out of whack. Maybe your testosterone will be lower, or for a female, your cycle will be completely out of whack. And in turn, you will not make very much progress. So make sure you're getting all of the relevant micronutrition that you need to. The easiest way to do this is track your food on an app like MyFitnessPal and have a look at, are you getting in your vitamin A, your vitamin K, your vitamin B? Are you even getting outside and getting some vitamin D? Maybe you need to take some supplementation. Have a look at what you're low on. For females, making sure, and for men to be honest, making sure you're getting enough healthy fats from olive oils, from seeds, from avocados, etc. Getting your omegas. All of these things are going to have a big impact on your health and your hormones. Get these in check and you will suddenly find it easier to make progress and easier to stick to the rest of the principles that I'm going to talk about in a second. Because if these aren't right, your appetite will be all over the shop. Your energy will be really low, so you won't be moving around very much. And it's going to make getting in shape that much harder. So make sure your micronutrition is good. The second one, and potentially most important one for losing weight, is being in a calorie deficit or paying attention to your energy balance. Everyone's got their issues, whether it's something wrong with your hormones or your thyroid or whatever it might be. People have these issues. Some people, you might be lucky and you might be absolutely okay. But whatever these issues are, it does not negate the fact that a calorie deficit is a calorie deficit. Sure, because of these little things, your calorie deficit might be lower than others, but that is okay. It just means you might have to work that little bit harder to get there. So calorie deficit or energy balance is essentially how much food you need to eat to lose body fat and lose body weight more specifically. So what you need to understand is where your maintenance is. How much food do you need to eat to maintain the same body weight that you're at right now? Work that out. And that is very easy to work out by weighing yourself on a daily basis, tracking your food across 7 days and seeing if your body weight goes up or down. If it goes up, you know you're slightly over. If it goes down, you know you're slightly under. And then you can decide on where you want your food to be based on your goals. Do you want to lose weight? If so, pull down by a couple of 100 calories. Do you want to gain weight? If so, add on a couple of 100 calories. It is that simple. If you don't get this right, not too much else matters. You want to get that set in stone. And sure, people have struggles with being adherent, staying consistent. But like I say, today I'm really just talking about the principles of what is needed. So you can just cut out all the rubbish. Number 3 is within your training. To grow muscle, to get stronger, you need to be actively applying progressive overload. So progressive overload is simply just improving from the week before, whether it's more load or more reps, or maybe you take a little bit better range of motion, the range of motion that you have available. Maybe your tempo is slightly better, slightly slower and more controlled on the way down. Whatever it needs to be, whatever that progression model is, you just need to try to be slightly better than the week before. If you do this and zoom out across a 3-month, 6-month period, you will gain muscle if you are actually progressing on a week-to-week basis. That is all I want you to focus on with training as the absolute staple. That is the system that is going to make it work. Okay, that is the principle that's actually going to make you grow muscle. Other stuff come into it, like a good program, a good exercise design, making sure you're performing your exercises well, making sure you got the right rep ranges. But if you're not trying to actively get progressive overload, you're not going to grow muscle. And that is number 3 ticked off. Number 4, and another really key one, another absolutely key principle that you need to get right, is your sleep. Sleep is where you are going to grow muscle. Good sleep is going to stop you from feeling so hungry all the time because your appetite levels are actually, just caught a fly, your appetite levels are actually going to be manageable. If you have bad sleep, you're going to be hungry all the time, you're going to have really low energy, and it's going to make this whole process so much more difficult for you. So with your sleep, the absolute key is to have it consistent. Whether you're sleeping 6.5, 7.5, 8 hours, all of them can be okay. I'd recommend try to get as close towards 8 hours as you can, but just make sure it's consistent so that you go to sleep and wake up at similar times every single day. That's going to make the quality of your sleep significantly better. That is then going to make you have more regulated appetite levels, so it's going to be easier to control your calories. That is going to make you have more energy, so it's going to be easier to apply that progressive overload. And it's also going to make sure that you can actually stay consistent with all of this stuff, because you're going to have the recovery, the energy, the hormone and appetite regulation behind you. So get your sleep in, please. Do not miss out on this, because it makes such a big difference. And the 5th and final point is protein. It's potentially the most important macronutrient for changing your physique. Like I said, as long as you've got the micronutrition in place, as long as you're getting those healthy fats in, you're getting the omegas, protein is going to be absolutely key to make sure you're building muscle, again, to regulate your appetite so that you can actually stick to a calorie deficit. And all I'd say is get it in. Now, how much protein do you actually need to have? 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, or you could go for like a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you were 100 kilos, you'd need somewhere between 160 and 220 grams of protein. That is a scale because I want you to judge it yourself. Are you feeling good on the lower end? Is your appetite feeling in a good spot? Also have a look at how much body fat you've got right now. If you're 100 kilos but you've got 20 kilos of body fat to lose, then you can probably afford to be on the lower end of that scale. If you're 100 kilos and you're already quite lean, then you probably need to be on the upper end of that scale to make sure that you're actually fueling and giving enough protein to the muscles that you have. The likelihood is if you're leaner and heavier, you've probably got a little bit more muscle. And then don't be restricted by that. If you feel better off going above that scale, up to maybe 2.5 grams of protein, there's absolutely no need to worry about that. So they are the top 5 physique development essentials, the principles that are actually going to drive home fat loss. And all of these have sales tactics within them, whether it's for the energy balance, things like the keto, like I mentioned, or the intermittent fasting, or any of the diets that you've heard before, they will work because you're in a calorie deficit. All of the training systems that everyone claims to have, they work because of progressive overload. So focus on those 5 principles: progressive overload, energy balance, protein, sleep, and micronutrition. Get those 5 right and you will suddenly start making significantly better progress. I had to get that one off my chest because I've seen so much stuff recently that has been really annoying me. People just saying words to try and sell their stuff. So focus on those 5, ignore all the rubbish, and you'll make significantly better progress. Hopefully you found this enjoyable, or at least informative, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.